Hey everybody, how's it going? I thought I'd do a general Deathwing video, like I guess a general information video about the Deathwing, before I start doing my tactical videos for Deathwing. Now keep in mind I'm doing videos based on how I play Deathwing, my thoughts and views on them, what I think works well and what I think may not work so well. It may be different than other people's thoughts on Deathwing, and it probably will be a little bit different than other people's thoughts on Terminators, because as you may know, Deathwing is a Terminator army as far as infantry goes. So, firstly, let's look at the basics of Terminators in case you don't know the basics of Terminators. Terminators are an elite choice for Space Marines. Now, I'm not talking about Chaos Terminators, and what I say will generalistically be able to be used by Chaos Terminators in terms of general information. And for Space Wolf Terminators, but they have some differences. They have more customizability for their war gear. And Space Wolf Terminators cannot de-strike in via teleportation. However, that aside, the general information on Terminators can be used for anything in Terminator armor. So firstly, Terminator armor grants a Space Marine a 2+, 5+ save, being a 2+ armor save and a 5+ invulnerability save, standard. They are relentless, meaning they can move, shoot, and assault with regardless of if they shot. So they can move, fire heavy weapon and assault. They can move and fire rapid fire weapon at max distance. Stuff like that. And they can assault afterwards. However, being Terminator armor, they are unable to sweeping advance. They can just consolidate. So if you are in close combat and you win and your opponent falls back, you cannot chase them via sweeping advance. You can just consolidate. They can de-strike in via teleportation, and thus are able to make use of things like teleport homers or things similar to teleport homers that work for teleport de-striking. And weapon-wise, regardless of whether you're fielding a tactical Terminator or a assault Terminator, every close combat attack ignores armor, because it's from some type of power weapon, whether it's a Thunderhammer, Lightning Claw, power weapon, or a Power Fist. For the tactical Terminators, the Stormbolter Power Fist Terminators, they have Stormbolters for ranged weaponry, and they have 3 weapon options. They can only choose one, but they have 3 to choose from. They can take a Heavy Flamer, they can take an Assault Cannon, both of which replace the Stormbolter, or they can take a Cyclone Missile Launcher in addition to what they have, so they keep the Stormbolter and Power Fist. And Cyclone Missile Launchers can fire at the same time as the Stormbolter. So that's the general basics for Terminators in terms of information about them. Now, Deathwing. Deathwing is a Terminator force for infantry, and we're going to take everything that's basic about Terminator information and add some stuff to it, / change some stuff. Firstly, they're a 5-man Terminator squad only. Other Terminator squads can be made up to 10-man usually. Deathwing cannot, it's only 5-man. Deathwing is fearless, which is very nice, and we'll get into that in a later video. Also, well, I guess we'll get into it now, and I'll get into it again in a later video. Just real briefly, being a 5-man squad, fearless is nice because you won't fall back, and in close combat, if you lost so badly that you had to make fearless checks, chances are you either A, wiped out, or have to make at most 4 armor saves at 2+, which should be able to be made no problem unless you're me. But usually you'll have dealt some wounds back, so you usually don't have to make the full 4. Remember, 5-man squad, so if you lose 4, if you lose all 5, then they won. If you lose 4 and you don't make any saves or make any wounds back to them, then you have 4 2+ armor saves to make. So they're 5-man squad, they're fearless. And Deathwing Terminators are just one squad type. If you look at the Dark Angels Codex, there's no Deathwing Terminators or Deathwing Assault Terminators. They're just one entry. That means you can have Stormbolter Power Fists mixed in with Thunderhammer Storm Shields. You can have your Tactical Terminators and your Assault Terminators mixed together in one squad. the assault cannon and the heavy flamer weapon options can only be put on people with a storm bolter. However, the cyclone missile launcher can be put on any Terminator. So it doesn't matter if they have lightning claws, if they don't have a storm shield or whatever, they can still get a cyclone missile launcher. And it's still only one weapon upgrade per squad. So that's the Deathwing itself in terms of the Terminators there. Now, in order to take Deathwing, you must take a specific HQ. You must take Belial, the special character Belial. In fact, that's the only way you can get a Dark Angel's Company Master, the equivalent of a captain, in Terminator armor, and it makes sense for their fluff. So, you must take him, and he unlocks Deathwing as troop choices. And he can be equipped with a Stormbolter or Mastercrafted Power Sword. No, Stormbolter and Mastercrafted Power Sword, I should say. Or Twin Lightning Claws, or Thunderhammer Storm Shield. He also lets you turn one Terminator squad into a almost command squad, a pseudo command squad, if you will. You can upgrade one guy into an apothecary and one guy into a standard bearer of that squad. So, that's what Belial lets you do. And in addition to that, Deathwing can take, well, they're not limited to taking specific things. In fact, you can take whatever you want with this configuration. However, to make a true, quote-unquote, proper Deathwing army, what I feel is the classic proper Deathwing army, you must have, not must, but you may only take Land Raiders or Dreadnoughts in addition to your Terminators. Some people will include the Vindicator in there, I don't personally. So a Deathwing force consists of Belial, Terminators, Dreadnoughts, and Land Raiders, and that's what you're limited to as a Deathwing force. So as you can see, it's a very small, expensive, elite force. So that's the basics of the Deathwing. In terms of basic information, what's required, what Terminator armor does, what else you can take to support your Terminators. Now keep in mind, with the new FAQ, well, that's not new anymore, but the FAQ for the Dark Angels, the Storm Shield, the War Gear changes. The Cyclone Missile Launcher shoots twice now. The Storm Shields are 3+ invuln. Basically, War Gear got updated, so it's now uniform across the board for the most part between Space Marine codices. And so I'm saying keep that in mind for A, Belial, how you're going to equip him, and B, how you're going to equip your squads of Terminators, because, like I mentioned, Deathwing Terminator squads can mix tactical Terminators, those are the shooting guys, with assault Terminators. And there's no point difference. So you can have that, if you have a squad of 5 shooting Terminators, or a squad of 5 assault Terminators, or a squad of mixed, it's the same point cost before one of the 3 weapons you can take, or the Chain Fists. And Chain Fists only replace Power Fist or Power or Weapon, being the Power Sword of the Sergeant for that type of squad. So Chain Fists, that's the only way you can get a Chain Fist. So if you want a Chain Fist, you need to take a Stormbolter Power Fist guy. Alright, so that's pretty much it. And if it seems pretty straightforward, in terms of basics, it is. But keep in mind, being that you can mix and match the weapons in a Terminator squad like that, or the Terminator types in a Terminator squad, you can have a heavy flamer mixed in with your assault guys and things of that nature. So that's it for the basics of Deathwing. Hopefully that wasn't too boring. Up next, I've talked about Belial at least twice now. I'm going to talk about him again in terms of more Deathwing Tactics type of stuff. I'm going to talk about Belial and then secondary HQs. In fact, I may do that after I do a Deathwing strength and weakness video, because every army has a strength and a weakness, or multiple strengths and multiple weaknesses, and it's always good to know what they are and exploit them when you're playing, as playing your army. Exploit your strengths and defend against your weaknesses, or at least know that they're there. So, until next time, take it easy.